welcome to my YouTube channel and blog. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card making tutorial. Today I am making an all-occasion party celebration card. It doesn't say happy birthday, it says party on. So you can take this and apply it for any kind of a celebratory occasion. I'm going to be stamping with Balloon Adventures stamp set, and this is a really cool stamp set. There's textured balloons, and there's balloon strings that have curves and curls, large sentiments. It's a really great addition to my craft stash, and it pairs with an already existing punch from the annual catalog. It pairs with the balloon bouquet punch, and it's the large balloon on the punch that it pairs with. And these three balloons are really pretty. And because these balloons have designs on them, then we're able to do some creative coloring on them, which is what I'm going to be doing today. This is a balloon that has polka dots on it. One has stripes and one is solid. There's a certain way that you put a piece of paper into a punch, so I'm keeping that in mind as I do my stamping. And I'm using Tuxedo Black ink from Memento, which is a Copic and watercolor safe ink. One thing, whenever you're going to be using any kind of an additional fluid on top of just generic stamping, it's always a great idea to keep in mind what kind of ink you're using to do your basic stamping with. If I were to use a different kind of black that were not safe for, it wouldn't hold itself together, then it's not going to benefit me to have smeared lines on top of the coloring that I'm adding. The watercolor pencils are a great opportunity for me to color these balloons in, and it's another way that I can use to get some different kind of colors. So I'll be using the watercolor pencils, and I'm using the blue, which I believe matches to Pacific Point. And I'm giving a really light coat of blue over the whole balloon. And I'm trying to not concentrate areas in what I call the third quadrant. Whenever I deal with coloring images of balloons or whatever it is, if I'm, like it's a flower or some kind of object, but if I am either painting it or I am working on some color pencils, then I want to leave a highlighted area white or really, really light. So I'm going to be going over the edges of the balloon in a much darker shade than I am into one particular quadrant of the balloon, of the unit itself. I'm sorry if that sounds really technical, but that's my brain's way of making sure that I leave a certain area lighter than the rest so that the image really looks like it's kind of coming off of the paper. This is the Bermuda Bay pencil, and I like how this color is not the same as what goes with the paper pack, but it kind of goes with everything. It's a lighter shade of the Emerald Envy that is on this paper. Oh, and the paper. Did you guys get a really good look at this paper? It's from a paper pack called Party Animal. Have you ever purchased a package of pattern paper just for one print that you see on it that you can't do without? Well, this is the print from Party Animal paper that did it for me. This is the cutest piece of paper that has every animal imagined that I can think of with a party hat. That is the cutest ever. And these are not comical looking animals either. They are camels, turtles, cats, hedgehogs, deers. There's looks like a Boston Terrier, elephants, everything. My kids love this paper. I think it's going to go a long way, and it's just too cute to pass up. So everything that I'm doing is I'm matching to go with this paper. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a birthday card. It can be any occasion that I'd like it to be. So back to the coloring. I did the coloring with the pencils, and then I used a blender pen to smear the watercolor pencils around on the paper. A blender pen definitely does not give as much fluid as a water brush does, and so you're not going to get the watercolor look. You're just going to have a muddled look to it. This is the sentiment that I'm using, and it says, as you can see, party on, which is the cutest thing to say on a card, party on. And it has this banner that comes. I did not yet get the dies for this stamp set. The dies are really beautiful, and there's a huge pop-up die that comes with this coordinating die set to this stamps, but it's like down on my list of things to get. So if I get to it in my purchases, then I will definitely demonstrate it for you guys. Well, I've popped out the balloons with the punch, and now I'm attaching the paper unit together, and I'm just going to give a like a bar of color with the crushed curry at the top and at the bottom. So the piece of paper that I cut for the DSP is 3 inches tall by 5.5 inches wide, and the crushed curry is just 1/8 of an inch taller, so it would be 3 1/8 by 5.5. The balloons are going to be going on, and I used just a basic white twine and a glue dot to hold them on. And I'm going to be attaching most of everything on the card with dimensionals. I used some glue dots, but the dimensionals for me are what's going to differentiate all of my elements of the card from the designer series paper. So that's why I'm using so many dimensionals on this one particular project. Here are some white cupped sequins that I have collected from the metallic sequin assortment. I have a lot of sequins, and I really like the ones that are white, and they really complement the project. Thank you guys for sticking with me for another card tutorial. I invite you over to my blog at jennystampsup.com, and there you'll find daily card making inspiration.
Thanks for watching the video. See you next time.